Okay, so to start with the animation project, you know, a few setups on your screen. So it's good to be able to see your rig in side profile and in perspective. So we want to change some settings. So panels, I'm going to go to layouts, 2 panes side by side. So rather than having the 4, I have 2 panes side by side. So I'll make one. I'm holding down my space bar, right click and perspective view, shading, I want that to be smooth shade all, and then this one, side view, so I'll make it right view and zoom in on that. So this is going to be my layout, so I can see, you know, I can see him in the side view and I can see him in the perspective view. So to change, I need to change my lighting here again because it switched back to the default. So I just made it, the lighting turned off two-sided. So that just gives me the visual cue of, I can see the one black leg, one black shoe, so I know which leg I'm on. The other thing I want to put in here is a ground plane. So I'm going to create a ground plane. So create polygon primitives. I'm going to make it a cube because a cube makes it easier to see rather than just a plane. So I'll just kind of stretch it, and I want it under the foot, and I can scale it wide too. I'm going to move it something like that. I can always add more if I need to. So with that ground plane, I want to put it on a layer, on a separate layer. So I'm going to make a new layer over here. So I clicked on that last button with the ground plane selected, and it made a new layer and put it on it. I know it's on it because if I click on the V, it disappears. So I'm going to make that reference, and I can double click on that and give it a name. I will call it ground. Okay, so I can't select it anymore because I've made it reference. If I make it template, you know, that can help me help it be see-through in the side view, which can be helpful when you're placing the foot. So I can toggle between reference and template. Either way, I can't pick it up, but it's there. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do, I want to reduce down the number of frames on my timeline. So I'm going to bring this way down. So if I'm sorry, we're going to work on a walk cycle. So we want the cycle to be, we go at 25 frames. So I'm going to bring this down. I can type it in here. Okay. I can see my controls are not visible in this view, so I'm going to go to show and NURBS curves, make sure that's on, so that's showing all my controls in both views then. Okay, so to actually start the animation, then we need to put him into his first pose. So, you know, pull down the knee, or pull down the hips, and then we pull one foot in front of the other, and one foot back. Pull it down a bit more. I forgot to go through, there's some extra controls on here. So if I select, say, the right foot, we have foot roll. So if I highlight the word foot roll, middle mouse, and drag out here on my screen anywhere, see the way it changes the settings, and my foot will roll. Foot break, toe roll, leg twist, heel twist, ball twist, and toe twist. So the one you're really probably interested in is going to be toe roll and foot roll. So that'll get you the, you know, the shapes that you want. There is just controls on the legs. If you go through any of these, you can see if there's any extra controls. This is where they'll show up. So there isn't other than the foot. This is squash stretch, and that's translate, so I can change that. Other than that, that's all my controls. Anyway, so I have put, you know, one foot in front of the other. Okay, I just realised because I had, this is starting at 0 rather than 1, so I'm going to change that too. So I'm going to make that, oh, where's my, I'm going to make my frames start at 1 rather than, let's change both of that to 1. So it's starting at 1 rather than 0. So then it's 1 to 25. Yeah. Sorry, I had 1 to 25. Change both of them to 25. This is kind of your range slider. Anyway, we'll get back to that again another time. But frame 1. So at frame 1, I want him in his first pose. So his first pose is yeah, foot touching the ground, like that, and right foot in front. So in order to hold that pose, I need to set a key. So I need to set a key on everything. So I'm just going to select everything there and type S for snake, and set a key. And see, like I get a little red line down here, and that means I have a key set on everything. So if I go up on 3 frames, so to frame 4, and change it then to the next pose, so my hips are coming down. Now, I'm actually getting keyframes made for me again because this is on over here, so my auto key is on. So auto key works, it changes if a key has been set on any item and the attribute changes, as in any of these numbers change, then I get a new key. So at frame 1 I keyed everything in their current position, so any change I make to them should make a new key. So that's how I'm getting my new key. So because we're actually going to do a walk cycle, you know, my foot is going to slide back a bit. Now normally this is a no-no in regular walk forwards. Foot sliding is a huge no. But because this is a walk cycle, you know, we have to do it. So then I'd go on another 3 frames. And do the next pose. So you need to have your reference with you. You know, using your Richard Williams. So this is the one, you know, I've kind of spent a little bit of time, and just, so frame 1. Now that's the other thing, to jump through the frames, if I hold down Alt and the greater than or less than, the one beside the question mark on your keyboard, holding down Alt, it'll go through it frame by frame. If I just use the, without holding down Alt, and use the greater than or less than, it'll go keyframe to keyframe. If I hit my play button over here, okay, that's a little bit on the fast side. So I need to right click on that, and my playback speed, turn it to real time. And we'll see, yeah, that's better. So, you know, this is just the start, kind of getting the cycle working. So it takes a bit of, you know, get your head around how to do that first. And then you can start to finesse. You know, we're looking at his up down, how his feet are hitting the ground. And just getting the mechanics of it working really is what our goal is for this first stage. We can then start to add on a little bit. I don't know how much more these are. It looks like he has a bit of a limp there. And then I'm going to open this one just to see. Not sure what this is. Alright, this is on a bit further, so yeah, I'll kind of add a bit more to it. I think we'll just stick with what we were doing there in the first point, which was to kind of get a cycle working. As I said, you are going to need to use your, use some reference and just matching up your keyframe to the pose. So frame 1, frame 3, sorry, frame 4, frame 7, I meant to go on 3 frames, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22 and 25 will be the last one. So that should be enough to kind of get you started, and as I said, we'll finesse then a little bit more. Okay.